this week's episode of the Maz Hakim podcast, we have Ramin Popal, who is a 22-year-old entrepreneur. He's a millionaire. He's doing e-commerce his entire life. He's been buying and selling online since he's been 12 years old. So basically like 2 seconds, but you've done so incredibly well. Welcome, Ramin.
Thank you. Thanks, Maz. Happy to be on.
So, Ramin, tell me this. You've been doing e-commerce since you were 12 years old. How do you even know what you want to do? Like, how do you get involved in e-commerce at such a young age?
Well, it sort of came from my dad buying and selling. My dad used to work so many jobs, so he'd always find ways to make more money. So when I was 8 years old, my dad used to go to garage sales on Saturday. I'd go with him because I was so young. I'd just go with him because no school, obviously, on Saturdays. He'd buy stuff, and then on Sundays when he would sleep in the car, I would be the one selling it in person. So slowly over time, I picked up this skill of selling, negotiating, and seeing that, hey, making a couple of dollars profit off each product. So once I got to 12, I finally got my phone, and that's when I was I can buy stuff and I can sell them not only on online but also in person too to friends and stuff. But that's when I really came to the power. I'm wow, I can, at the age of 8, 9, you can buy things low, sell. And then that's when 12 hit, 13 hit. I was just making profit, just selling products online that a lot of people just wanted.
And how do you figure out how to get involved in e-commerce? Because it all seems quite complicated.
Yeah, it does seem like this is crazy thing, but if you actually break it down, it isn't too crazy if you really think about it. E-commerce, I know a lot of you guys have probably purchased something from an e-commerce store before. You probably jump on the store, buy a product, but it's you literally buy it off this store. The product gets delivered to your house, and that is what e-commerce is. And the way that you get into it is by figuring out what product do you really want to sell. Is there a demand for this product? Do you have a unique position in the market for this product? And you come out with your store, advertise it to people across the social media platforms, get eyes on it, and potentially see sales from it.
And how do you figure out what to sell? What are you selling at the moment?
Yeah, so for us right now, we're selling art canvases that we put up on your wall. It's motivational art pieces. Because for me, I've found over the past year or two what my purpose really is and what I really like doing, and that's motivating, inspiring, helping a lot of people, and not just through the educational company that I have, but I'm how do I do it through e-commerce as well? Rather than selling trending products, whatever, I'm how can I get into people's houses to motivate them, inspire them on a whole nother level? And that's where we came out with the art canvas brand. But there's all types of ways to, go ahead and figure out what you can sell. Take a look at what you're purchasing yourself that you really like, that you could potentially sell and make that product better. Or what are you seeing on TikTok a lot, on Instagram? What are people posting? And that's when you sort of get an idea of what's doing really well that you can jump on and create your own store around it.
Okay, so say, for example, let's start from scratch. So say I have an idea, I want to sell, I don't know, lipsticks, for example. Where do I find cheaper versions of lipsticks, or do I need to create my own brand?
Yeah, you don't really need to go and make your own product out of it. There's a lot of suppliers through Alibaba that you can go on, that you can find really good suppliers that can provide the lipstick. But it's let's say, for example, you want to sell lipstick. It's all right, so what type of lipstick do we really want to sell? And that's when you get a game plan together. Be how can I go into this market and be completely different from everyone else? What's my value into providing for these people? Because there are a lot of other lipstick brands out there. How do I differentiate myself? And then when you can do that, that's when you go to these suppliers and be hey, this is my unique selling position. Can you help me out with it? And that's when you come up with a game plan with the supplier, because the supplier's best interest is to help bring your idea to reality, because they make money if you sell a lot. And then they come together, and that's when you can either drop ship them, where it's every order gets placed, they send out an order, or you can, order a ton and just, ship them out of your own house, or have a company ship it out for you.
So talk to me about drop shipping, because this is a whole nother world for the average person who doesn't really understand. So drop shipping, say you go to Alibaba or AliExpress. Do you tell the supplier, I want you to deliver to this person when I get an order? Or do you have to buy all the products outright and then stock it somewhere and then sell it?
No, with drop shipping, it's like you don't have to, even if you do start a brand, like you can still do drop shipping. Just gotta figure out something to supply. But there's a lot of these softwares that you can actually download onto your Shopify store, which is where you host your store. And every time someone places an order, it automatically gets sent to the supplier, and they automatically just send it out. And that's the best part about dropshipping as well. Like you don't have to ship out a lot of the products yourself, and it allows you to focus on actually building the company and focusing there. But even if you do decide to order a ton of stock and you do want to go down the route of like starting a brand but having the stock yourself, you can send it out to one of a 3PL, which is a third party logistics, where they ship out the products much quicker than you can, obviously, and obviously have you allowing to focus on the bigger picture of the brand and where you want to head towards.
So let's say somebody is thinking of making extra money. What would your advice be to them?
Um, Definitely go towards the dropshipping route. It's not only that you're selling products online, but you're acquiring a lot of the skills that we need in today's time: marketing, copywriting, website, and just being in the online space is a huge advantage in its own. And just having a pulse on it is very, very important, because a lot of things are already online and a lot of things are heading online. So the sooner you can acquire these skills and learn a lot of how things work, it puts you ahead of so many people out there that are not willing to like give it a shot, because we're at the point where we can't ignore the fact that online it's massive, and a lot of things are moving online. So the sooner you can start with just e-commerce, it's the best path to go down towards, because like I said, you acquire all the necessary skills that you need to acquire in order to really get an understanding of the online space.
So you're 22, you're an entrepreneur, and you do a lot of drop shipping, you do motivation. What does your life look like now? Like if somebody were, he's 22 and he wants to get into drop shipping, what can his life look like?
um yeah, my life is like pretty crazy. I don't really like take a step back and realize how crazy my life really is. um and it's like, you know first class flights, yachts, traveling, just and at the time, like, it's even weird for me to say this, because it's like I don't like saying this sort of stuff, but that is what my life really is. And like I said, there's times where like I'm like, sitting in like wherever I am, like in a villa, or like I literally get a yacht just for a 70-foot yacht, like in Dubai, just for myself to just go on and just chill at times. Yeah. And it's like it's crazy, because like even in those moments, I'm not really like, it doesn't feel like it's real at times to me, because I'm still so young, and it's just crazy how things have worked out and happened. But it's always like I'm always on to like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? That I never really think about what my life is, but it's just a lot of fun and a lot of time freedom, location freedom, and just get to do some stuff like it. I always say, if like my friends are like, you should have a camera like following you around all the time, because like your life is just like, it's a movie. It's like, it's not nothing. It's like just completely crazy of the stuff you do. Um, and even like my team members, like I was out in Miami, the other week, and my team members were like, wow, like just spending a week with you has opened our eyes to what is possible and what can truly be done. Like just the way that you move, the way you handle things, like how things operate. It's like we're talking to like a 50-year-old, or like we're hanging out with like a 50-year-old, but they're just 22.
Yeah. So are you saying anyone can live that life, or have you had some like good mentors? Have you read certain books? Like, how do you stay motivated?
I genuinely believe anyone can honestly do it if they're hungry enough to really want it. A lot of people just want the outcome of things; they don't actually want to put the work in. But I've also just found a reason to enjoy the work too, like fulfillment in the work as well. A lot of people want $1 million, but they don't want to work to make $1 million, and that's what separates a lot of people. And for me, like even like motivation, like I'm not motivated every single day either, but it's like the discipline that kicks in that makes me want to, like, the routines and habits that I've like built over the last couple of years has pushed me. But genuinely, like a lot of people, like even a lot of my friends that have had massive success with e-commerce, no one's like a smarter or brighter or like anything crazy. It's just like we stuck to one thing, we focused, and we did anything and everything that we could possibly do to make it work. I think that's one thing that honestly separates me from everyone else out there that is trying to find success, is that I will do anything and everything that I can possibly do to make it work. I'll work 16-hour days, 17. Like there's times where I won't sleep. If I want to really bad enough, I'm putting in the work, and no one's going to outwork me on that part. And when you want it bad enough, it's like the reward is going to be massive when you do put in that sort of work. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do a few hours and then I'll enjoy and relax. Like, no, like we're putting in the work in, and it always says like high risk, high reward. And when you put the hours in, you truly deserve that sort of like freedom that comes with it.
So you mainly focus on artworks and things now. Do you have to market those, or is the money mainly coming from that side?
So I have like there's a lot of different ways that I have so many like streams of income like set up, and a lot of them like I forget that I even have, because like it's just getting run because I've built such a solid team around certain things. And that's another powerful thing. Like as you build up and up, you have like team members in all sort of aspects that the business is always running, no matter what. And yeah, with the our canvases, that we just market them through TikTok, through Facebook, through Instagram, and put it in front of these people that would potentially like the product, and they go ahead and purchase it. And then I've got the educational company side of stuff, which I absolutely love, because constantly hearing people's lives getting changed, or like, hey, like, I've just learned this skill or this skill. I've now learned e-commerce, or hey, I just made my first sale on my store. Now I'm doing $100 a day. It's like, that's really eye-opening to see. And also shifting a lot of those people's mindset, because a lot of people, we're conditioned some sort of way growing up to think certain way, do certain ways, which isn't the right way. And obviously that's a whole nother topic, but it's like just even helping people see the brighter side of things, the positive side of things, goes a very long way. And I always tell people too, like, even if you're listening to this or like watching this, you don't need to go make an extra like $1 to $2 3 million per year. Like an extra like $10,000 per month or $5,000 per month can help you guys out so much. And I feel like a lot of people have this like, we're growing up, like money's a bad thing, you shouldn't go and chase it. But I'm like, a lot of your problems, if you actually write down all your problems on a day-to-day base, majority of them can be solved by having an extra bit of money coming to your name. So that's why I like even push people. I'm like, it's not a bad thing to go out and make a lot of money, especially when it can solve a lot of the problems that you're currently facing too.
So multiple streams of income, that's always the key. But what would your message be to somebody who is like scared? So they work, say, for example, 9 to 5, and then they're stuck in an hour of traffic and they come home and there's just that regular salary coming in. What would you say to somebody who doesn't have another stream of income? How can they get that? Where should they start?
So firstly, like multiple streams of income, that whole thing of like millionaires having 7 streams of income is taken as completely like out of context and out of look. A lot of the millionaires and billionaires, they all have one main focus thing that they focus on. They make a lot of money with that one thing. Remember, one thing, not 7 things, one thing. They make a lot of money with that one thing, and then they diversify their income because they have a lot of capital and they can do a lot of different things. But if you're just starting out, your focus should be on one thing. All these business models, everything, it works. People are like, oh, you can only get rich through e-commerce. No, you can get rich with anything. You have real estate people rich, construction people rich, online people rich. Like everything can make a lot of money. You just need to focus on one thing and one thing only, and set aside a couple of hours every single day. I know a lot of people come from work, they're tired, whatever it is, but if you really want it bad enough, you have a couple of hours. And I always tell people, I'm like, it's like priorities. Take a look at your priorities. Like write down every hour of your day what you're doing, and I can guarantee you that you can fit in 2 hours, 2 hours to work on your dreams. And if you can't work 2 hours, then you just don't want it bad enough. And the situation that you're in, you shouldn't be complaining about. And I'd like be straight up with a lot of people, because I have a lot of friends that I'll just see here and there, like old friends that I'll run into, and they're like, man, like I don't like my life. And then I'm like, then like, what are you doing partying on the weekends? Like they're like, oh, but it's a balance. You need to have fun. But I'm like, what? That the balance doesn't work there. You're now seeing like a partying or doing this as much better as going and working on your dreams, is what you're pretty much telling me, and that you don't want it bad enough. So they come home tired from work, rest up for an hour or two, and then just put your head down for 2 hours and be like, what can I do in these 2 hours? Who can I learn from? What video can I watch to get me one step closer? And people aren't willing to play the long game, which is what I've seen a lot too. People want things fast. We're in a world of instant gratification. You want things tomorrow, today. You want results as soon as possible. But like, take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Like, every single day, work towards it, and it slowly compounds up, and you'll slowly start seeing results.
So, what are some books that you've read, or say videos or mentors that you follow that you would recommend for people to make extra money or change their life or get motivated?
Yeah. And this is like perfect thing too. Like, this is gonna completely change everyone's perspective on how to read books and how to watch videos. Like, when you read a book or watch a video, what happens? You get this instant moment of like some sort of motivation. You probably learn some stuff, or like even a book, you read a couple of pages and like you're going like crazy or whatever it might be, right? But the way to read these books, like a couple of really good books, is Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Atomic Habits. Uh, and these are really good books just on mindset, but also you want to look into what your industry or what you want to head down towards and find books around there and mentors around there. But when you read these books or you watch these videos, what I want you guys to do is get a pen and paper out. And as soon as you've learned something, immediately write down how you are now going to implement what you just learned in your life. Like, exactly what you learned. Now you need to go ahead and implement it, because books, videos, mentors, they're amazing. They're awesome, but they're nothing if you actually don't implement what they're trying to tell you. And that's where people get it wrong. They're like, oh, you should read a book a week. Well, you're not implementing everything that's said in those books a week. Then what's the point of reading a book a week? Like, you need to go ahead and implement what you're learning. And that's when you'll start to see the actual results of what the magic in these books and what these mentors and these people are saying. But the best people to start out with is like, you got guys like the Gary V, like definitely a person to look into, Robert Kiyosaki, and then reading like Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and really dialing in on those stuff.
So, you now want to inspire people to start. Can people reach out to you?
Yeah, 100%. Like they can reach out to, on Instagram is a perfect place. And then, myself and my team are in there, like, replying to people, helping out as many people as possible. And then we got this community in there too that, we get people inside of, and, we help them, get on that route of starting an online business, and also helping them out with a lot of mindset stuff, and, really change their perspective on how things, should be viewed. And, like I said, like, not only just online business, but like I said, very, very much mindset stuff related to.
So, it's all about the mind. What does the future look like? I can't believe you're 22. I mean, right now, everything's looking so bright. What does the bright future look like for you, Ramin?
Um, it's so like difficult to really say what the future like in terms of look like, because it's always changing. Like, what I had planned a month ago has completely changed because of how rapid things are moving in the world that we're living. But yeah, I mean, just like honestly, just being like happy and really, just fulfilling down on like my potential, um is my main key focus. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I've done like all the money stuff, like whatever else I need, but now it's like, how can I like impact on a bigger scale, and help the people out, and obviously just take care of myself as well along it all.
Does money make you happy?
Money solves money problems. Um, but you'll also run into a lot of other problems. Like, when you get to like a really high level, it's like there are times where you've got to be careful with who you trust, and what happens. And like, a lot of people that come out that are fake pretty much will start to like crawl back into your life, and a lot of like the people that said they didn't like you or whatever. But money does, like, it's funny, I put this up on my story today. Like, you, I know a lot of people do say money doesn't buy happiness some sort of way, but that's if you revolve your whole life around that. It's also important to take care of other aspects of your life, but money helps all those other aspects too, like your health, your relationships. Like, it can solve a lot of stuff that is happening. But money will solve money problems. But any other problems that you have, money will help uh, fix those in some sort of way. But it all comes down to your mindset and how you view a lot of those stuff.
And how do you stay grounded at 22 when you do have all this money and you're traveling Dubai, Miami, all around the world? How do you stay grounded?
So it's a very, I think it's the people that I'm always like, my students that I always like, I talk to, like seeing where they're at and helping them on their journey kind of reminds me back of when I was first starting out. because there was a point where I did get caught up in like the whole rush of like, feeling like invincible. It was like, it's a weird feeling like invincible, like you can just walk in and do whatever you want, and you can get carried away from that, and like getting caught up in that massive lifestyle. But then like now it's like the students just keep me like very grounded because I see their journey, their progress, and helping them out. And then just like I said, it reminds you of like when I literally had nothing and I built something, and that constant reminder and being grateful, like doing my gratitude like in the morning, like really just being grateful of what I have and where I've come has been super helpful.
I love that. Where can people reach out to you?
On Instagram, it's just Ramin Popal underscore. There are like a million fake accounts on me, so
Oh, what?
don't get.
Really?
Yeah, there's like another fake account that pops up every other day, but it's unfortunate. But Instagram is the best place. Like I always post a lot of the stuff that goes on in my life on there. That's like the perfect place for me to put it out there. But yeah, that's the best place to reach me.
And people can reach out and I guess ask for advice or guidance. You can help them out.
Yeah, just even following me. Like I put out so much content on just like motivational stuff, mindset stuff, just everything that's really going on, and just through the content alone, a lot of people just can really benefit from.
And finally, what's your final tip on how somebody can start e-commerce, making extra money?
The first step, like when you're starting it, just go into it as a long-term play, not a short-term play. And understand that it does require hard work. It does require being consistent. And remember, like if anything was to come easy, it wouldn't be worth it. And when you can understand that it is hard and it is a lot of work that you need to put in, then you sort of, when all these hardship moment comes, you will know, be like, you'll take a step back and be like, hey, like this is meant to happen. And what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? And then, yeah, once you've got that out of the way and you dive into it, like, pick a product, start a store on Shopify, advertise on the big platforms. And even if you guys want help, just reach out to me, and I'm happy to give advice on where I can.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Ramin.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Maz.